This episode of the New Medical Nomads podcast is brought to you by Nomadicare. Now, personally, I love Nomadicare. I've used Nomadicare, and I recommend the company to all new travelers. What Nomadicare does is it takes the fear out of getting set up with a bad recruiter, which is the biggest fear that you have jumping into this journey. So they sit down, they interview recruiters, they vet them, get them on a list, and then provide them to you as a free service, as a free recruiter matchmaking service in order to get you started on your journey. Now, usually you only get 2 recruiters going through Nomadicare, but being a listener of the show, you can get 3. So this is how it's going to work. You go to nomadicare.com/Dylan. You will get set up with 3 recruiters to be on your dream team, as well as a guide to get you started on your journey.
Hey Nomad, this is Dylan, and I'll be coming at you from Thailand and Bali. But welcome to a series of blogs that have helped me along my journeys, along getting started and being a medical traveler. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the New Medical Nomads podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dylan Callier, and thank you for joining another blog series where I'm rating blogs that really impacted me. And this one was actually a recent one. And I was struggling with finding gyms and staying consistent with my health goals. And so this one is coming from fittravellife.net. So thank you to Alex McCoy for putting this together. But it's finding a new gym at each travel nursing assignment. And it goes through some things about finding a gym and, again, trying to maintain those goals, trying to maintain those habits. And on one side of it, habits are easier to make and create and also lose while we're on the road because you're in a new place, you're resetting yourself, and you're able to kind of really be intentful with what you're trying to do when you move somewhere new. So going to that place next door, if you have the opportunity between a fast food place versus a healthier Thai food place, you want to do the healthier one because you are more likely to return to something that something that you've already been to before. And so if you're already familiar with that Thai food place, you're probably going to return to that one more than you would the fast food place. So attempting to be along those lines, stay in the habits. One of the things that was actually hard for me and that fell off was going to the gym. And not so much just going to the gym. I was able to find gyms, but the ones that I found were either really crowded. I was trying to find really cheap ones because it's harder, because when you're on the road, a 3-month membership is actually pretty expensive for a lot of these gyms, especially if they only offer like year-long memberships and you're trying to work a deal with them and things like that. But this one, this blog helps with that. So I wanted to jump into this, but finding a new gym at each travel nursing assignment. One of the trickiest parts of trying to stay healthy and active while on a travel nursing assignment is finding a new gym to call home for 13 weeks. Between finding one you like, paying sign-up fees, and making sure the hours coincide with your work schedule, it can be overwhelming. And add one more thing to the list of reasons why you can't juggle personal health along with the stresses of travel nursing. Many people turn to working out from home, which is a great alternative. I am actually working on a post about some great fitness bands that you can use to create some challenging home workouts. Personally, I have tried many home workout programs for me, and it comes down to needing a change of scenery to help with mindset and motivation to push myself. Luckily, I have made finding a new gym one of the first priorities when I scout out housing at each location, so I perfected this task and some great tips to share with my fellow travel nurses. And I will say, I like to lift heavy things and put them back down. I've done at-home workouts, and you do, but it's just not the same for me. And so I do like lifting. I do like being at a gym. I do like talking with people as they're working out, even though I'm not supposed to. I usually, do pretty good with that aspect. But picking stuff up, squats, deadlifts, presses, pulls, cleans, all that, love it. And that's what I like. If I can't do that, I try to go to a local track or go to a local flat road where I can do sprints. I like high intensity stuff. I'm not much of a long distance runner, even though that's what I did in high school for a while. And home workouts are just, they're not as fun for me. And so it's hard to maintain that consistency and that motivation if I'm not doing something that I really enjoy. And so for those that feel the same way, or for those that just don't want to work out inside their home, it's kind of like working from home. You want to go to a place where that's what you're there to do. And maybe not talk to the people like me, but that's what I enjoy. So I really resonate with trying to find a gym. But tip number 1, find housing and map your route to work. I like to know where exactly I will be driving each day. The key to picking a gym is that one that you will use on a regular basis to make sure it is convenient throughout your travel nursing assignment. During the work week, the last thing anyone wants to do is drive 20 plus minutes in the wrong direction when you're either just waking up or exhausted from a day at work. A general rule of thumb is that if it is more than 10 minutes away from me, my home or work, that gym is out of the running. While cost is a factor when finding a gym, I also prioritize my health and am willing to pay a little extra if I'm giving myself a better guarantee that I will show up on a regular basis. And I definitely think that's something that is very important, is keeping it within proximity to you or your work. I'm also not one to really pack what I need to work out, my workout clothes or anything like that in the car the morning of. So usually I pick one that's really close to my home. Tip number 2, research ahead of time. If you are a bit picky on coach quality or equipment, which goes guilty, then don't feel bad about calling or emailing the gyms you are looking at to ask questions. I have found even the traditional gyms were super helpful in giving me details about their equipment via email when I was trying to decide between different local gyms. This helps you narrow down your choices so that when you actually arrive at your assignment, you only need to visit a couple locations in person and you can get signed up right away. The reality of sticking to a fitness regimen is you have to like what you are doing. Like I was just talking about, if you are getting frustrated due to the lack of equipment or quality of the gym, then you are more likely to skip workouts or not give your all. Quality and consistency is also very important. There was I just came back from my contract, and there was a food spot. It's called To Go Sandwiches. And every time I ordered a certain wrap, I asked for barbecue ranch chicken without the ranch. And every single time I kept getting ranch on my sandwich. And so I stopped going. And so I definitely think it's the quality of the gym as well. If you want a place that's more cleanly, or you don't want a certain gym where everybody's grunting and kind of slamming down weights, I personally want a gym that has a real squat rack and a real deadlift platform. So a lot of the Planet Fitnesses out there don't have that. They have a Smith machine, which I can do with, I'm okay with. I know there's a big controversy out there for Smith machines for those in the workout industry, but I'm actually pretty okay with it. It doesn't change my form too much, but I do like having an actual squat rack, an actual deadlift platform. So that's something that I would definitely check ahead before I show up. Usually they have pictures and stuff, and you can spy on. You can be like, oh yeah, this is a legit gym. Tip number 3: avoid big box gyms. When I first started traveling, I signed up with what I thought was a nationwide chain of gyms. The cost was low, and I was positive I could use the membership pretty much anywhere I wanted to go. Unfortunately, my next assignment was in a small town in Missouri. Again, lots of small towns in Missouri. And I ended up having to pay for a full year at the chain and was only able to use it for 3 months. Now, I more or less steer clear of any gyms that are part of a corporate conglomerate. I have found that they usually charge more in the way of sign-up fees, require more contractual obligations, or charge hefty cancellation fees, all things I would rather avoid if possible. Instead, look for smaller and local gyms. Often these places are more relaxed with their contracts or will work with you if you reach out and explain your situation. I've found some allow daily passes, and I paid as low as $10 a month for a local gym that had all the basic equipment I needed. Community centers are also a great resource when looking for a short-term, lower-cost gym option. I will say now that I am an actual traveler, versus when I was a clinical student. When I was a clinical student, I didn't have any mail coming in. And so when I would go to use these community centers, you needed to show that you were a member of the community and that you had, like, usually they said mail or just pull out your driver's license if it has the address. Well, obviously that driver's license isn't going to have the address, but if you have mail going to where you're staying at, that is often good enough, and they'll let you come and use the community center. Sometimes you can get sticklers, but most of the times they're really cool. Tip number 4, look into free membership trials. A lot of places will also offer short-term membership trials for a reduced or free rate. We even scored a free month at our most recent assignment because they were offering a sign-up bonus for new members. In theory, you could even utilize a free trial week at several gyms, allowing you to scout out different locations and see which one you like best. Similarly, many class-based programs like Orange Theory, Cycle Bar, or Core Power Yoga will offer a couple of free classes if you're interested in signing up. This is a great way to try a new style of workouts if you are in a slump or struggling to find something you like to do. And there's a couple more tips. Tip number 5, check out memberships like Class Pass. Class Pass is available in most larger cities and seems like a really neat concept. I usually opt for local CrossFit gyms, but in the event that I decide to mix it up, Class Pass is definitely something I would look into. This membership allows you to set up a number of visits per week at any of the gyms listed on their website. The cost is around $100 a month, but most of the classes are things like yoga, Pilates, or cycle classes, which normally run $15 to $20 a class if you purchase them individually. Once again, this is a great way to try new things, and you can cancel your class pass at the end of your assignment. Number 6, set a deadline for yourself once you get to your assignment. The key to not letting the transitional period between assignments disrupt progress is making sure you get right back into your fitness routine as soon as possible. The first couple days at a new assignment can be stressful, but make yourself and your health a priority. Set a deadline such as, I will get signed up at my new gym by Tuesday, and make sure that you're moving again ASAP. This is why tip number 2 was so important. By researching ahead of time, you give yourself less excuses regarding the time it takes to find a new gym on the road. Besides, it can also give you a feel for how friendly or welcoming the people at your new gym will be. Once again, the beauty of being a traveler is whatever gym you choose, you won't be stuck with it forever. The most important thing is that you keep your health a priority while in your new assignment. By following these tips, doing so will be a little less stressful and a little bit more streamlined. Happy and healthy travels, Alex. Ooh, I like that send off. So I definitely, and we're all in the health professions, and we all see the things that happen to people who don't take care of their bodies and don't make their health a priority. And so every time I work out, I imagine myself, I'm making an investment, one of those compounds investments. The compounding interest is going to leave me saving $1 million within my own health. So that's why I make it a priority to be intentional about what I eat, to make sure that I am moving, that I am feeling, and even if it's something at home, at least I'm doing something, even 15 minutes, something easy that I can do that I can't, 15 minutes a day, you have to do 15 minutes. You can do anything for 15 minutes. And so I'll force myself to do it, but it is much more fun. When I was in college, I used to have to limit myself because I was lifting so much, it was taking away from my study time. And so I started bringing my study index cards in there with me so that I could study all my rest breaks, all my active rest breaks, walk the gym, come back, do my squats, walk the gym, study, come back in, do my deadlifts, things like that. But now it's a little bit harder with the podcasting and learning and traveling and doing these contract things. And when you're in the hustle of trying to find your next assignment, all of a sudden that time gets very, very limited. But definitely keeping consistently what you like to do, not being afraid to explore new avenues. Rock climbing was surprisingly really cool for me to do, but does have quite a bit of financial investment, kind of front loading. There's a lot of stuff that you have to buy, and then the memberships are usually a little bit more expensive than a normal gym. But that was a great alternative for me as well. But thank you so much, Alex, for writing this blog. I thought there was a lot of great tips and something I was actually struggling with this past contract and wanted to bring this to the listeners. So again, those are the 6 tips. Happy, healthy travels from Alex, and that was finding a new gym at each travel nursing assignment. If you are looking for the next episode, you can find the next episode of the New Medical Nomads podcast on the New Medical Nomads podcast Facebook page. If you have any questions for myself or any fitness questions for Alex, you can go to New Medical Nomads group on Facebook. If you want early access to these episodes, you can join us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, anything, your favorite podcast app, and you'll get the early releases when I upload them ahead of time. But thank you so much for those who engage, who reach out, who comment when we post these. The likes, the hearts, the reviews online. Oh my gosh, the iTunes reviews are so helpful in letting more people know about this information. So like the subscriptions on YouTube, the reviews on Facebook, they all allow more people to see this information, which allows us to help more people with this information that for those that need it, which is ultimately the goal of this podcast and ultimately the goal of the show. So thank you so much for being an engaged community and for all the meetups and for all the relationships I've gotten to develop over this. So this has been absolutely amazing. And for all you nomads, you guys have safe travels.